Hey YouTube, today we're going to do a minimalist style wallet with some leather carving on it, probably in a Viking style. I need a new wallet and I figured it was a good time to do this video. Most of you guys know that I'm pretty picky with my sponsors, and I've got two, Lonsdale Leather and VKNGjewelry.com. VKNG Jewelry asked if they could sponsor this video to celebrate their first 1,500 customers, and they've given me a 30% discount code to use on their entire shop until May 31st. The code is DarkHorse30, and I've provided a link to their website in the description of this video where you can find a ton of cool Viking-inspired jewelry. I know most packaging finds its way into the garbage, but I'm immediately impressed that they've taken the extra time to make their packaging look really slick. They sent me this Mjolnir. I love bronze, and they were adamant that they wanted a really honest review. So, to start with, I'm impressed with the size and weight of it. It's cast really well, and if I had to change anything about it, it would be that the leather thonging it came with is adequate. It's not terrible, it's not great. It'll be fine for most people, but since I have a ton of leather options here at the shop, I can take 5 minutes and replace the thong. More than anything, I just want something a little thicker and probably more of a natural brown color. Sponsors like VKNGjewelry.com and Lonsdale Leather help me make more videos. Hopefully some of you can find something on the VKNG website and take advantage of this discount code for a limited time. Just a reminder that you can find the pattern and artwork for this project on my Etsy shop. There'll be a link right here. You can also find the pattern and artwork for this project for a limited time on my Patreon account month to month, so check that out. And if you want to help support the channel even more, I've started making a few shirts. This is one of them here. It would mean a lot to me, so let's get started. Amazingly enough, I've only ever done one wallet, and that was a kit. As usual, almost all of my supplies and leather are from Lonsdale Leather. You can get the information right here, or in the description box down below. No word of a lie, this pattern currently looks like ass, but it will be redone and posted on my Etsy shop for you guys in a more legible fashion while I work out all the kinks. If you're on the fence about starting leatherwork, this is a really simple project to get you going. Minimalist wallet. It doesn't have all the extra bits that some wallets do. It's really simple. It's just 5 pieces of leather and some sewing. And yeah, some leather carving if you want to do some leather carving, but you don't have to do that. But if you do want to do that, that artwork is supplied in the pattern, so, have at it. When thinking about what artwork I wanted to use on this pattern, the fact that VKNG sent me a Mjolnir made me think that I should do a Thor's hammer. Now, I did end up drawing a very Marvel-looking Thor's hammer, as well as a serpent to go with the hammer, but in the end I decided that it was just too good an idea to mirror these serpents and put them on the wallet. So I'm going to supply both the hammer and serpent and my mirrored serpent artwork on this pattern, and you can pick whatever one you want to use for your projects. Hey, you can even take this and use it on something else. I've got lots of artwork on my Etsy shop, so take a look if you haven't already. Most of you guys already know that. I know it's really simple to just mirror your serpent, but sometimes the layout of it is just perfect, so I think you'll be able to see why I decided to go with the mirrored serpents instead of the single serpent and Mjolnir. Just like everything else in life, practice makes perfect. If you're not very good at drawing knotwork, practice drawing knotwork. I'm forced to draw knotwork. I need to draw knotwork for you guys. I need to do various images for my projects, and I'm slowly getting better and better. So stop thinking about drawing and draw. I know that sounds obvious, but one of the things that I always seem to do is I put obstacles in front of me for whatever project I want to do. So I'll say that I need to get a certain kind of pen to start learning how to draw, a certain kind of sketchbook. I need a certain leatherworking tool to be able to do a certain project. None of that is true. You just need to take what you have and make it work for you. You don't need the best pens, sketchbook, tools to do your projects. You just need to commit to it and get after it. So start a plan, write it down, decide what you're going to do, and start doing it. I am a horrible procrastinator. You, the viewer, get to come in here, see me at my best, all of my videos done up, whether they are good, bad, whatever, they're done. You can see me working. But do you have any idea how long it took me to start certain projects? It takes forever, so you just need to initiate and get after it. I know I'm sounding a little bit like Tony Robbins, but it's true. Just make sure that you have a plan and start working on the things that you have always wanted to do. That was a little magic trick for you. If you were paying too much attention to me rambling, you would have missed it. I don't know when this became a motivational channel, but whatever. So now we're on to carving the leather. I've got lots of videos on this. I really have got to slow down on putting too much of this stuff in every single video. I could make my videos quicker for you guys if I pulled back a bit, but I always imagine that this is somebody watching one of my videos for the very first time, and I don't want to confuse anybody by leaving stuff out, but it is fast forwarded a little bit. You got to wet your leather, you got to let it dry a little bit, you've got to trace your pattern onto your leather, and then you've got to cut it with a swivel knife. I think my most important tip for using a swivel knife is make sure your leather dries a bit and make sure your blade is sharp or polished. I use a ceramic blade, I polish it to make sure it's clean and ready to go. If your leather's too wet, you're not going to have a good separation in your lines. It's going to bubble up on the edges. If your knife is too dull, you're going to screw up when you're making your cuts. Beveling is super time consuming, but if you are even with your strokes, you can get through it pretty good. It drives me crazy trying to film this at the same time as I am carving it, so you can just imagine how my camera is set up right now as I try and work my hands around the camera and bevel for you guys. Just make sure that you're keeping an eye on your bevels. If it looks like they're individual strikes on the leather, then rub it back and forth with the beveler or go over it a little bit more until it evens out, because what makes beveling look bad is when you have uneven strikes. And that unevenness can come in the power of your strikes, or it can come from the leather itself being of different water saturation in different parts, if it's oversaturated or undersaturated. So all of that plays a factor, and you're just going to have to do a lot of trial and error because it's hard for me to just explain it in a video. But another thing I would say is that if I had a preference of doing leather carving on a drier piece or a wetter piece, I would always go drier. Always. So once we've got all the backgrounding done that I've rambled on through, I'm going to paint it. It's a little tedious to paint with dyes, but once you've done it a couple times, it's not too bad. I'm still working on making sure everything comes out even. And if you wet your leather a bit before you do your dye painting, it'll come out a little evener. It's a bit easier to work with. And I didn't do that this time. It all turns out pretty good, but it could have been better. It doesn't need to be completely soaked, but putting a nice even coat of water over it, I think, just helps the dye even out. And also, if you're using pro dyes, it'll be a little evener as well. I think for some reason I thought this was a pro dye. It was in a random bottle. I guess you shouldn't use random bottles, but I did. So I think part of the reason that this brown is a little mottled is that it's not a pro dye, and on top of that, I forgot to wet the piece lightly. It still turns out great, and I'm pretty pleased with it, especially after we've dyed the other pieces some light brown, and then we put a finish or resist on the main piece and throw an antique on it. I'm dyeing the back here. Probably should have put a finish on it. I didn't. You guys can use your own discretion on if you want to put a finish on the back. I always find it's a little hit and miss on how it rubs off. Making sure I buff everything before I wax the edges and burnish them. I'm just doing this top edge because that's the only edge I can do right now. The other edge needs to be done when it's attached to the rest of the wallet. So we're just right where the cards go in. I'm just going to burnish those up a bit and make them nice. I know this may sound like sacrilege, but I might do a bunch of different wallet patterns without any leather carving, just because it's something I haven't done a lot of, and I want to challenge myself with new projects all the time. So there's a lot of different wallet ideas out there that people can do, and if I got them out of the way, then I can move on to other projects. One of my goals with this channel, and with my own personal development as a leatherworker, is to do stuff once. I'm applying some acrylic resin to all of these for a finish. I'm also applying it as a resist to the, we're going to put some gel on here for antiquing. Ooh, well, that might be a little too much gel. But, you know, with enough paper towel, eventually you can get rid of it and it sits really nice. Mostly. Yeah, it looks great. So now I'm hitting it with a finish afterwards. If you were to put a finish on this with a sponge, it might be a little awkward because those gels seem to pick up with water or resists
but when I spray it on, it doesn't smear anything around. So just be careful, because most of you guys, I assume, are going to be using some kind of sponge to put on your finishes and resists, and it may smear it all over the place, so just be careful. So I've marked where these pieces get glued on. I've applied the contact cement and glued them down. It'll be on the pattern. I kind of eyeballed it and measured it because this pattern isn't complete at this time. So hammering it down with a hammer, I guess, it's a hammer. Then we're going to mark the other side, like I was talking about earlier when I was rambling. And then we're going to apply some contact cement and put the other side on. Now, one of the cool things about wallets that I didn't know about until I did this is that how they layer is to reduce the thickness of the wallet usually. So you guys are probably wondering what the hell I'm talking about right now, but you'll see in the pattern. I'm not using a stitch groover. I'm just going to use this wing divider to mark some lines for my punches. I am using this crazy diamond punch that people were talking about and that I've decided to start using. One of the things that I recently found out about this punch, as of this video, is that you should certainly punch into heavy leather. Heavy leather is anything 8 ounce and above, I guess, but it makes it a lot easier to punch in and pull out. I've been doing leathercraft for many years, and I quickly got a sewing machine so I wouldn't have to hand stitch. I recently picked up this stitching pony from Lonsdale Leather, and because I'm doing hand stitching for you guys, I could just sew this with one of my sewing machines, but because I'm doing hand stitching, I thought I would grab it, and it is a lifesaver. I don't know how I didn't buy one earlier when I didn't have sewing machines, but I guess it's because I got sewing machines really quickly. So if you're doing hand stitching, if you're doing wallets or anything small and needing some stability, grab one of these stitching ponies or make some kind of rig for your vise. Either way, it's really useful. And as far as tools go, I would put this high on my list of things that can improve your productivity. So if you are doing this as a business and you don't have a sewing machine yet, you may want to pick up one of those stitching ponies. So unless you're Mr. Perfect, you're going to probably have some edges off slightly. You're going to finish them up with a blade. Then you're going to cut your corners, round them up, and use either a piece of sandpaper or a belt sander to make sure all your edges are even. Now I'm using a piece of sandpaper here just as a demonstration. I've never done it before. Belt sander's way easier, but you use what you can. I haven't always done it, but whenever I go into a shop, I usually try and buy one tool, and I've bought this Deluxe Craft Tool beveler. I think it's a little too big for this project, but it worked out okay. When the leather's doubled up, it's fine, but right here, I switched to the fine beveler just to make sure that I didn't gouge the leather, because that's only a single piece of leather there. So just be aware of that. You don't want to go too heavy and gouge into those single light leather pieces. The main body of the wallet is 4 ounce, maybe 4.5, and the pockets are like 2.5, 3 ounce. Here, I'm using this spongy sander. I've never done it before. I just think that on projects where you need it to curve around the edge, this is good because it has some give. Once we've sanded the edge, which is an optional thing, just so you guys know, you don't have to go crazy with sandpaper and edges. Then we're going to dye the edge, and then after we've dyed the edge on double-checked the inside, we're going to burnish up the edge with some wax and your burnishing tool of choice. Now I have a motorized burnisher that I use a lot, but if I'm not using that and I'm shooting a video and it's really quick, I'll usually hit it with either my Buffalo Bone Folder or this one right here, which is a wooden burnishing tool with a bunch of different curve sizes in it. So you can use that. It's at most leather supply shops. You can pick one up from Lonsdale Leather. Look at that, it's super shiny. Well, there you go. It's a pretty minimalist wallet. I don't carry a lot of cash with me. It's mostly credit cards. So it's perfect for me. If I need to hide some bills in it, I certainly can, but for the most part, it's credit cards and serpents.
Well, I think that project turned out great. It's going to be something I use every day. You can find the pattern and artwork on my Etsy shop and for a limited time on my Patreon account. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for future videos, hit the notification button so you don't miss any of my content, and until next time, keep on being creative in whatever it is you do.